muscle standard, battle tested.
I'm taking this opportunity to clear this mess out of my head, to clear this blood out of my lungs. I need to dig holes to bury the dead. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell me what a man is without pride. Tell me what a man is without fire in his eyes. Tell me who the fuck you are. You are.
Hey guys, Lencac here. Up in the gun room, and I got a little project today I'm going to try to do. Be honest with you, I'm not terribly comfortable about trying it, but I think it's my only option. So let me get to it and explain what we're doing. Well, and so this is what I am dealing with here. This is one of my private series K31s, which I've taken apart. That belongs in this stock right here. All right, and as you have seen, I've shot this rifle before. It has these front diopter sights on it. These are the W&F. These are the original Swiss type diopters. And here's what I got going on. These diopters, when you put them on, it clamps onto the receiver. When you clamp it onto the receiver, it is where it's going to be. There is no moving it around. It just sits in one place. And the only adjustment you get is your adjustments with the knobs. Okay? And now in the process, somebody took the standard mil-spec front sight off of it and put this globe sight on it for match shooting, that sort of thing, which is fine. I like it. However, there's a catch here. Apparently they did not put this front sight, press it onto the barrel. They didn't press it on exactly indexed properly. So what that results in is me having to move the windage knob on the rear diopter adjustment virtually as far as it'll go to get the rifle to 0. And so my task today is, I'm going to see, this is pressed on there. This is pressed onto the barrel. So what I'm going to do in this, if you can see, I've taken and I've marked it a little bit so I can see where the barrel and the sight are in relation to each other. I'm going to put some heat to it. I'm going to use my little torch here, and I'm going to put some heat to it, and I'm going to see if I can't bump that thing. I need this thing to go a little bit clockwise. It has to be moved just a little bit. I have to move it a little bit clockwise on the barrel as we're looking at it from this end. So I hope that I can get the heat to give it enough, so it'll expand enough to allow me to tap it and move it a little bit on the barrel. And so, I don't know, we're going to see how that goes. So, all right, guys, I'm going to head into this. As you can see, I have got this thing mounted in my barrel vise. And so I want to see, like I said, I'm going to see if put some heat to this. Use this and a smacker. I'm going to just see if I can tap that and get it to move a little bit. And of course I'm keeping my eye on the marks I put on so I can see if it moves, how far it moves. So let's see if we can make this work. Oh, geez. All right, let's give it a try. Let's see if she will move. It is not budging so far. Let's put a little more heat to it. I'm inclined, if I have to, if I can't get this thing, I'm inclined to put an original front sight on it. Try it again. Alright guys, that's a bust, I think. That's about as much heat as I think it should take to do that. And it is not moving. So, dang it. I wanted that to move. This is, I don't know, like I say, I was very uncomfortable starting to do this to begin with. And I don't know, maybe I'll end up having to split this and take it off, and because I have an original front sight base that I took off another barrel. I don't know. I don't think, it doesn't appear that that was working. The only other option I can try is to see if I can put something on it, a wrench, and see if I can do it that way. I might try that. Alright guys, as you saw, I could not get this sight to, with heat, I couldn't get it to bump around a little bit, and I didn't want to just beat the living crap out of it either. So I had to come up with a little bit less invasive method of doing it. So in hindsight, I ended up pulling the whole front sight assembly off because it was obvious what I was trying to do wasn't working. So then I'm thinking to myself, I'm going, how the hell am I going to get it off, you know? So I started thinking, I have this tool here. And what this tool is this is a front sight remover for an M1 carbine. And this gate here, I had to touch it up just a tiny little bit to get it to fit over the barrel like that. And that's how it fits over the barrel like that. And that's how I pulled the front sight off. It worked like a champ, actually. But now my question is how to put the front sight back on so that it actually indexed to a 0 reference point on where the rear sights are. So I am thinking that the rear sight, let's take and do this. See, I'm thinking that this flat surface here is going to be where we need to be. So I think I can use that as a reference point for the rear using a level. And then I'm going to do this much in the same methodology as I used to put the install the barrels on my M1As. And then I'm going to use this. You see, if you look at that cutout, I've removed the side insert and the nut that holds it in. I'm assuming, of course, that the split in that cutout is perpendicular to the center line of the center of the bore. So I think I can put like a machinist rule through that edge, through that split in there, and use that for the front as a level. So I can put these two together so that they match up in the same, like I say, in the same fashion as I did putting the barrels on my M1As. And of course the reason that I couldn't get this to bump around to, you know, heat it up and was this sight was soldered onto the barrel. And you know, I was kind of hoping that wasn't the case, but it was. So at any rate, it all panned out. I pulled it off, you know, using my M1 carbine front sight puller offer thing there. Worked like a champ. So all right, guys. And then of course I can use the degree meter and levels and stuff. So my next step will be to get this thing all jigged up and see about pressing this front sight back on so it is actually in alignment where it needs to be. Would be back to square one, I guess, kind of. If I put it on, it's no better than it was before. So at any rate, that's where I'm at on that. So let's proceed to the next step. All right, as you can see, I've got the action and the barrel stuck in the barrel vise. And I have the front sight base put on it reasonably well, I think. It's not on, I just got it started, but I got it level there. You see how I got that level there? And what I'm using as a reference point is, you see I'm using my machinist rule here, and with the two cutouts in it, where the thing screws in, you know, for the insert that goes in there, that's what I'm using. I am assuming that is cut I'm assuming that's cut perpendicular to the center line. I hope so. It sure looked that way, because when I put the level on it, it came up right. And so, and of course, if you put this on the back like that, see, that's on the barrel, on the rear of the barrel. And of course, that would be lined up for where the sight, you know, the sight is. I got the sight flipped up right now, and if I put this back here on the receiver itself, as you see, it likewise, let me get this thing, it's got to be perpendicular to the whole mess. All right, let's see here. All right, and as you can see there, I've got that, so that if I push that front sight on, if I tap it on, I'm going to put some heat to it. It should be a press fit. Probably still even has a little bit of the solder left from before. But if I can tap that on, I think, like I say, this is somewhat like the same way I did put the barrel on the M1, my M1. So, see, just a tiny little bit of difference, maybe half a degree, between the back of the barrel and the rear sight base is what I'm using that as a reference point, and the receiver itself, right, like that. And then if I even put this on top of the sight, on the knob on the top, assuming it's got to get it squared up here, you see, and that's so I think if I put, and I've got this sight, the windage on it zeroed, so it's in the middle of its travel. But so I'm at a point where I may want to start tapping the put some heat on that front sight and tapping it on and see how that goes. So let's give that a try, work it on a little bit. And as you can see, I got my torch putting a little heat on got my torch putting some heat on this rear sight or the front sight base. And I'm going to tap it on a little bit and put my level on it again. And then we'll go from there. And I kind of took a socket. It's a 13mm socket. I ground the end of it flat so that it would not, so the edges are crisp inside. You know, like most of the sockets are little, they got a bevel on the inside of them, so that it goes over the barrel, but will catch the sight here, be able to knock it on. So anyways, I bumped it on a little bit, so let's see. It's still center. That's good. I'm going to tap it on a little bit further. And so as you saw how I had this thing set up to put that front sight back on, hopefully where it belongs, I got it on, and of course when I pulled this off, it was soldered on the barrel. And when I got it off, I didn't take any of that solder off. I left it in place. And so anyways, what I did is I lined it up with my angle gauge and my levels and stuff, and then I actually took it and did a little manual by-eye bore sight like I do with these things, you know, like I do by eye at the range when I'm getting ready to fire up a new setup. And so I think it should be close, guys. And of course, obviously, the point of problem is that before, in order to get it zeroed, I had to put the windage on this rear sight all the way over here to the right. So it was going to be shooting. It was going to be shooting hugely to the to the right, and that's not acceptable. I need that thing to at least be within a reasonable amount of the center travel of that rear sight as far as windage goes. So at any rate, that's where I'm at. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it back in the stock. And of course, when I first pressed this back on, got it indexed where I want. While I was doing it, I could tell it was still. I could take it and I could grab it and still turn it on the barrel, but I got it where I wanted it. And then I took my torch and heated it all up, and it seems like it's tight now. So, but the proof will be in shooting it and make sure it doesn't come loose or do anything it shouldn't be doing. But at any rate, that's what we're doing. I'm going to take and put this darn thing back together now, and then the next step will be to take it out to the range, I suppose. All right, let's take it and. Of course, I put the tape on it here on the rear barrel band because you can't get it over the front, that front sight. So I just taped it onto the barrel here so that it wouldn't be flopping all over the place. So let's take the masking tape off. And see if we can put this thing back together. There you go. And I think what we need to do here is I want to wipe that barrel down once real quick. Go get a towel here. Okay. And now next is I've done a few of these guys. So I am fairly familiar with what the drill is. We'll drop that guy in there like that, right? And let's see, where's my screwsers? Okay, there's the front screw. get my McScrewy McDriverstein here. Okay. And of course, a little ritual that I do is bump it so it seats down. Okay. And now this guy, I know we want to make him pretty tight. And then we're going to check our barrel preload here. I think that's about right. A little bit, okay. Tighten that rear one down. See, what I'm looking for is just a tiny bit of preload right there at the barrel. This one is basically completely neutral, which is fine too. All right. Next, let's take and put our handguard on it. All right. Slide our barrel band over. Get our front clamshell on back on there. Like that. Actually, these are pretty darn easy to put together. Take apart and put together. At this point, I've done so many of these, I think I could probably do one of these in my sleep, and definitely with my eyes closed. And then the other part of this is getting this rear barrel band tightened properly, which is a whole task all by itself. Okay. See, because there's a point at which if you tighten this rear barrel band too much, it's going to collapse the handguard, and it'll end up touching the barrel, and it'll start squishing it out the sides. So you want it snug, but it doesn't have to be. See, right there, I loosen it up till I got just a little bit of, and I'll kind of center it, tighten it up a little bit more. And I'm going to call that good. There's no free play, but it's not excessively tight either. And boom, there you go. Where's my bolt? Right. And mag. Bada bing, bada boom, guys. And then my other thing I need to do is I want to put my cheek riser back on the back of it here. The cheek riser, I tell you what, to use these diopter sights, this cheek riser I got in here absolutely it works awesome. It makes shooting it a whole lot more, I don't know, usable, right? Tractable. So there. And put you there. Boom, boom, boom. Right. There we go, guys. We are in like Flynn. All right. All right, guys, so there you go. I got her, put her back together. That's a pretty nice Private Series K31, huh? And if you look, you can see got the rear sight indexed 0, so it's neutral. And it'll be an interesting little range test when I take it out to see how well I did on getting the front sight here indexed. Like I say, it was a little bit off, which wouldn't allow this rear sight to adjust enough. So anyways, that's my little front sight ordeal with my Private Series K31, guys. This is Lencac. over and out. I guess I'll see you at the range when I bring this out there.